Alexa, give me some tacos.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Useless. Hi.
Hi there.
Hello. Welcome to my channel. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and I figured, like, hey, you know, why not? Let's just go for it, I guess. So I was kind of like wondering what to do my channel about, and so I kind of asked around Facebook land, and most of the questions that I got from people when I asked them like what are some things that you would like to know about me, almost everything was about languages. So I figured let's talk about languages. As a lot of people know, I speak 4 languages fluently, or I should say extremely comfortably. I wouldn't say fluent for some of them just because like fluency usually implies like grammar and writing and all of that, and sometimes I mess up when I'm writing things out, so I would say I feel comfortable with. So obviously it's English, French, a language called Lingala, for those of you who are from RDC, you know, and Spanish. Question 1. What are the top 5 languages you like to learn? Rated from most wanted to least. And I actually had to like sit down and make a list because there's just so many languages that I'm interested in. But top 5, that was a hard one. So at the top of the list is probably Arabic. I don't know why I want to learn Arabic so much. I think because I just find it like really interesting, and I think it's a beautiful language. A lot of people think it sounds very like but like I just find it to be a beautiful language. Next down is Russian, because Russian just sounds badass, and that's like one of my #1 goals in life, is to just sound badass when I do things. Like, oh, it just sounds so cool. And then next is Mandarin. I'm not exactly sure why I'm interested in Mandarin. I think it's because like it's just a very difficult language, and I think like the level of difficulty makes it challenging, and you know, I love a challenge. So it's one of those things where I just want to be able to speak it to say that I can, you know. Next down on the list is Dutch, and I think I want to learn Dutch because I just want to learn Dutch, because why not? Honestly, I don't have a reason for that one. And then Vietnamese. I want to learn Vietnamese because I want to go to the nail salon and like be able to talk back when they talk about me, because I know they're talking about me. So like, may as well just be able to talk back. All I know how to say right now is "Tôi là một cô gái," which doesn't help me in any situation at all, because obviously you can see that I'm a girl. Moving on. Out of all the languages you speak and are speaking, what is your favorite and why? So out of all the languages that I'm currently learning, which would be Korean, Japanese, and German in that order, Korean is hands down absolutely like my most favorite language that I'm learning right now, and mostly because it's the first time I ever had to learn like a completely new writing system. I mean, I wouldn't say the first time I've had to learn it. I did obviously learn a new writing system in Japanese, but it is a lot more difficult to really like grasp the writing system. The hiragana and katakana, it's a little bit more complicated, a lot of it more complicated actually. Hangul is just such a scientific and straightforward, non-complex writing system. So like if you're ever trying to learn a new language where you have to learn the writing system, I 100% recommend Korean. And actually, Hangul just passed on the 9th. So that was the day Hangul was made by King Sejong, and we're not going to get into that history lesson, but I'm just saying it is not a new writing system, but it is a very scientific one. It is one that is easy to master if you're learning a new language. And then Korean is just fun. Like, it's fun to speak. It's a very verbally, like, it's a very expressive language, and it's so much fun to speak. It's fun to speak any foreign language, especially one that's like so foreign from your own. Obviously learning French as a child. The romantic languages are a lot easier for me to understand and to grasp and all of that. So obviously an Altaic language, or even just any Asian language in general, is just kind of, it's way outside my realm of comfort. I would say comfortability. Wow, way outside my realm of comfort. So it's just been like a really interesting experience, and I'm excited to see like where this takes me. Next question. Do your languages get crossed in your head all the time? Yes. Not so much as like when I was younger, but I have to say, like with these new languages, absolutely. The most recent time happened when I was doing my Korean placement, like my oral exam or whatever. I'm like mad nervous. I just finished the written one. I'm like super nervous, and so I like take my papers into the room, and 안녕하세요. I sit down, and she's like looking at my stuff, and she's like, 이름이 무엇입니까? And she's like, oh, she said. I was like, hi. Yes, that is yes in Japanese. And she laughed at me, and I was just like, oh, you think I'm stupid? Oh my god, you think I'm stupid? And then the rest of the test went okay. But growing up, I did it a whole lot more. For example, there were words that I didn't even know in English until I got a little bit older, much older, like my siblings and I. For example, dustpan. That word was not in my lexicon for the first like 13 years of my life. I did not know what a dustpan was. For us, it's a ramassette. Oh, go get the ramassette. Like there was a lot of Franglish happening in our household. Like toilet paper, I had a hard time with the word toilet, just in general, like toilet, because in French it's toilette. So what would end up happening was that I would say, can I get some toilet paper? So I would say toilette, but with an American English accent. Toilet. Took me a long time to fix that. But to answer the whole question, yes, my languages get crossed all the time for no reason whatsoever. I also forget words in English. I just forget them, and I think it's because there's just like, when I think in different languages, I kind of, I guess, turn off one of them, and so things just get a little muddy in there. And I forgot the word for, what was it? Breath. I forgot the word for breath one time, and I said something entirely wrong. So yeah, that happens too. I think that answers the question. So next, what is the most difficult language you've learned? I think English. No. The most difficult language I've learned, actually, I think I would say that I'm still learning it, just because at this point, like, I've been in the States long enough that English is basically my native language now. Granted, I wasn't allowed to like speak English in the house unless it was with my siblings. Like, we would speak to each other in English, but if it was with my mom, I'd like go up to her and be like, Mom, my school day was so great, and she'd be like, je ne parle pas l'anglais. On parle pas l'anglais dans cette maison. And it was a whole thing. So yeah, I wasn't allowed to speak English at home, but I think it helped me retain the French that I do have. But that is definitely a difficult language, and it's a language that I continue to learn, especially like I was saying, the grammar and writing and all of that. It's just a complicated language. I personally don't like languages that, like romantic languages, for example, that have like gendered words and you have to match the gender with the articles, and it gets to be a lot when you're just like trying to yell at somebody. So it's difficult. French is hard. French is difficult. Next question. What is the best way to learn a language? I think that's gonna have to be its own video, but I think the most concise way to put it is to not think of it so much as a language when you're learning it. Don't think of it as a means of communication, just think of it as like a collection of sounds that just happen to mean something. Because once you get caught up in the fact that like, oh my god, this is a language, I need to learn how to say these specific things or else I will never be able to communicate in the country that I'm trying to go to, you get in your own head about it. Once you realize that our mouths are capable of making like the most random, inane sounds in the world, and all language really is a group of sounds that has meaning ascribed to it, it kind of becomes less complicated and it becomes more of like a scientific process, really. And then it's just a matter of repetition. But like I said, I think it'd be easier to get into it in its own video. So thanks for that idea, whoever asked that question. I totally forgot. But yeah, so I think that is it for this video. If there are any other questions that you have, or you feel like I didn't really answer something in a way that made sense to you, like, let me know, drop a comment, do the thing, and I will do my best to answer it in my next video. Any other comments, questions, concerns, recipes, whatever, let me know. And I hope you enjoyed it. There's more to come, probably, hopefully, if this does well. Why am I rambling?